this year.
So much.
Those are hard for me, Ed.
Yeah.
Collecting all of his awards, you know.
No, I know. I think we're hold on. Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on our Facebook page. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Pinch hitting today as our director is Jason Pohl. Thanks to Jason for stepping in to do that. Our very special guest today, Rio Rancho girls head coach Lori Mabrey. Her team is 24-4 in the season, district champs. They beat Farmington. They're 8-2 in the district. She also got her 400th win this season. They will take on Clovis in the first round and play the winner of Los Lunas and Mayfield in the state tournament. So, Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ed. Always good to chat with you.
You know, Coach, you had a great season. You really have, and you got some people might forget your resume. You played at Kirtland Central, and Kirtland Central, you had 3 titles as a player over there, 4 as assistant, and one title as a head coach at Cibola, and also you were in the title game 5 times. Tell us a little bit about this season and how it's gone for the Rams. Coach, are you there? You might have had to log back in. Let's wait and see, and if not, we'll take a break and bring her back. I think there she is. Okay, we lost you for a sec.
I don't know what happened.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We got a strong connection now. But like I was saying, you had 3 state titles as a player at Kirtland Central, 4 as an assistant coach, 1 at Cibola. You were in the title game 5 times. Tell us, and you got a tremendous amount of experience. Glad to see you back on the bench this year. You were served well by a great staff, and we'll go over them. They have great assistant coaches, man. I don't know Jack, but I know Bruce. I know Eric. I know Carol. And I'm sure Jack's a great assistant coach too. Tell us a little bit about this season with the Rams. I think losing to Farmington earlier, but you avenged that loss. Coach Adair. How many Anna Taylor sisters are there left? I have the utmost respect for Coach Adair. I really do. He's a great guy. But tell us a little bit about the Rams season so far.
Well, first, let me start by saying there's only one Aunt Lou left. Thank goodness. And she's a senior. I do have a great staff. All have very good strengths in a lot of different areas and are able to bring a lot of different things to our team. So I first want to shout out to my Rio Rancho staff and just them being so good to me, not just last year, but all 4 years that I've been here. We are 24-4. We're probably coming off of our very best game, beating Farmington up in Farmington, which is not an easy feat. Farmington has an all senior roster with the exception of one player, very veteran basketball team, really intelligent basketball players. Understand the game well at every position. And I just thought that my girls showed incredible grit in that game, and just incredible heart. Relied on each other for 32 minutes, really limited our turnovers, and just did things to a degree that allowed us an opportunity to win that basketball game. And I've said all year long that I have a good team. This is a good time of year to be playing well, for sure. But it's also a wide open field. And I'm pretty honest with our group of girls. There's probably 5 or 6 teams that can win it all. And like I tell them, we're one of them.
5 in a row. You won 5 in a row, and I always look at teams trending up in towards the state tournament. Like Hobbs is number 1. We talked about that the other night on the seeding and selection show. And Joe Carpenter, man, that guy lost. Zoe. He lost Wisdom Anthony. Clay, Mojica. He lost a lot, but that guy, low key dude. I love that dude, man. He's a very good friend. They're ranked number one. You
Mhm.
mentioned it's a wide open field, but I think I picked you to actually win the title because I think and you know how picks go, man. I mean, so, but I think it's your team with the Martinez's, Deja Jack. You've got some inside players as well. Coach Carver, who's a very good friend of mine, talks about he came out of retirement to coach, man, and keeps him busy. Bruce and I are both retired, so we always talk about things that are keeping us active. And he's having such a good time out there. And I said, hey man, what are you working on with these girls? And he'll show me the moves, up and under, pull throughs, and I'll ask him what's the progress when I see him, no matter how they doing. I used to like to work the post a little bit, even though I play forward. I love post games. You don't see them anymore as much anymore because it's more outside in than inside out. Back in the day, it was a lot more inside out. So so you've got some girls with some real skills. You got Maddie Martinez at 19.6. She's only a sophomore. The Martinez sisters, I think, give you a chance. Deja Jack, the daughter of Eric Jack, who played professionally for the Atlanta Falcons, played here. I love Eric. Eric and I used to play hoops at Johnson back in the day, man. So Eric and I go back a long way. Tell us a little bit more about this roster.
Well, definitely. You kind of encapsulated it all, really. We've got an incredible player in Maddie Martinez. She can just flat out score. She has an eye for the basket, unlike any kid I've probably coached. She can find ways to score. She's probably faced a box and one in our last 14 games, and she's still getting her average or beyond her average every game. She just finds ways to get to the rim and get to the free throw line. She can shoot the three. She can get all the way to the bucket. She's got a nice little floater. Her twin sister, Larissa, is kind of our blue collar kiddo. Larissa does a lot of the stuff that you don't get your name in the newspaper for, but she does a lot of the dirty work for us. She's our leading rebounder, and she's 5'4", which
Wow.
is just incredible. That's just an incredible feat all on its own, and it's because she just has a nose for the basketball, and she's quick enough to get to the basketball. And then Deja's just an incredibly gifted athlete. Deja has been a little bit inconsistent throughout the season. If she plays to her strengths, which is her quickness and her ability to get to the rim, that's going to serve her extremely well at the state tournament. And then finally, I think we have the it factor. We have two it factors that I believe maybe some teams are missing. I've definitely got some very large kids, tall kids, some twin sisters that are 6'3" apiece. Not the most gifted athletes on our roster, but they are very big girls. We've put a lot of time and energy into them. In particular, Coach Carver, Bruce has really worked many hours with them. They are great kids, really smart girls. I'm hoping that Casey can build on the game that she had against Farmington, and that she's realizing that she can do a lot more for our basketball program, because I think both her and her sister, and then Gemma Estrada, who's also 6 feet tall, I've got size that could really hurt other teams. And then I think we have a really pretty talented bench. We're probably one of the deeper teams in the 5A tournament. A lot of teams kind of have three or four, maybe 5 or 6 kids. Most nights I'm able to play 8 to 13 girls.
You know what? That's a lot of depth. And you mentioned the McHugh sisters, Serena and her sister Casey, and Gemma Estrada, I believe, came out this season. Didn't play last year. And
Right.
Coach Carver has mentioned how important she's been to your team. And you're right. Size, and Coach Corey Rodriguez would always say this: doesn't do us any good to be big unless we play big. And
Right.
so, yeah, man. And that's you got Coach Carver. He's been I always say, hey Bruce, man, you own Eunice, the Eunice legend, right? Played at Lubbock Christian, coached at Raton, coached at I'm trying to remember where else he was a head coach at. He's been
In
around.
Amarillo.
That's right. And Emerald, also the
Mhm.
athletic director at Hobbs in Rio Rancho in Cleveland. Bruce has been around the game a long time. I don't want to forget Jack Cadman or Carol Williams. You know, Carol Williams, everybody. Carol was a track star in Santa Fe. Her kids, Marcus and Chris, Rio Rancho legends. And of course, her husband, Wallace, a Hobbs legend, man, a 440 guy back in the
Mhm.
day, man. I think people forget how fast Wallace was. You know, and just a low key dude, right? A low key guy. So you got a great staff there, as we mentioned. But you've had some really. I've been keeping an eye on your team. Good win against Sandy is a good team. Beat them 54-49. I
Mhm.
think Coach Keddig has won the last
Mhm.
two championships. Beat Lisa Villarreal
Mhm.
and Joe Carpenter. I thought his that elevated him a little bit. You beat La Cueva. A loss to Kirtland Central. A loss to Albuquerque High. Beat Volcano. Um, Beat Cleveland. Stacy Pokorski's doing a good job there. You lost to Farmington. You lost to Volcano, but you avenged those losses. You beat Farmington for the district championship, and then you beat Volcano Vista by 6. And Coach Villarreal may not have the horses that she once had, but she's a formidable opponent. I saw her the next
Mhm.
night. Coach Ray Rodriguez and I did Volcano and Farmington, and she said you that game that they beat you. You were missing Manny Martinez. You're missing your leading scorer. But I know you're
Yeah,
not going. You know, I know you don't make any excuses for that, but you are
no.
missing 19 points a game in that game.
Yeah, Maddie had the flu. She was really, really ill. She had to sit out 2 games actually. Volcano is probably the dark horse in the tournament, but in my mind, they're one of the most improved late season teams. I think Lisa's team struggled early. I'm gonna say that they could upset anybody. They've got a whole lot of tradition, and I think they're gonna be a very difficult out. I think another dark horse in the tournament could definitely be La Cueva. They've got the Division 1 kid in the state that can pretty much tear any of us up. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting state tournament. I think, like I said, it could be 5 or 6 different teams. I think we have as good a shot as anybody. There's things that we're going to have to do well, and that there's things that we have to be responsible for controlling on our end. But I think if we do those things, we're going to be a very difficult out as well.
Got to ask, and we'll get into everything about your late husband Thomas Buster Mabrey. You didn't coach last year, obviously, but you got your 400th win this season. And you know what? Danny Brown at Sandia just got his 300th. That's an achievement. It's a milestone. And so again, some great years at Cibola, and you were talking about some of the players, Amaya Brown, Kaviana Brown, Amber Battle, Arena Chapman, Corbin Cunningham. Man, I still remember those squads, man. I do. I was officiating a lot there during that time, and you've coached some great players. There's no doubt about it. You also helped 29, 30 women get to college, and that's important, to the next level. So, what did that 400th win mean to you? What did it mean to you?
The 400 wins, I've jokingly told everybody all that really means, Ed, is that you're old. That's kind of my joke on that. But for me personally, it means a lot. It means a lot, and it means a lot because it was something that Buster really wanted for me. Um, and after he passed away, there was a moment where I had to really decide and really take some time to reflect whether or not I could come back to basketball because he and I had shared so much of that together. When I finally made the decision to come back and get all the way back in, it was really just incredibly heartfelt for me, knowing that I got the 400 um, and that he would be proud of that.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, I mean he Buster, had so many head of the coaches association, former official himself. I told you that he shared a story about Coach Tasker with us one time. We were dressing in the pit for a game that we were going to officiate together, and I think and I know you spent time on the bench last year, and you let Coach Jack he was the coaching a lot of the team last year. But you were there, and I know you kind of took a step back, and it's hard to do that. It's hard when you're in charge, man. It is. And again, no disrespect to Coach Jack, Coach Williams, Coach. I don't think Coach Carver was there last year, but no disrespect, because when you're used to it, you see things, and Coach Jack sees a different game. Coach Williams sees things. That's why you have them. You're the decision maker. When I used to ref your games, even when you were up, I used to you call timeout, and man, you want to run something. You'd want to run something in the fourth quarter to execute, even if you're up 10 or up 20. Boom, give me a 30. I remember that. I'd be thinking to myself, Lori, you're up 20, man. What are you doing? I would think to myself, but you wanted to work on it. You want to execute in certain situations, in game situations. Can we execute and can we do this? So you've always been like that. So what was it like last year, kind of taking that step? You're on the bench. You're right there. I saw you, and I know you well. We've known each other for a long time. So I'm always wondering, what are you thinking? Because what was your emotions like? And it's tough. We know the situation with Buster. It had to have been tough. But you're around the game you love so much. You chose to come back. There's a reason why. I understand you have memories, and those will never go away. You're making new ones. But what was that situation like, just being on the bench and not being the assistant, sort of?
Well, full disclosure, Ed, I was exhausted. I was exhausted after everything I had been through with Buster. I received and continue to receive grief counseling. So I have a person that is very near and dear to me through the Enhancement Center that kind of helps me through a lot of my emotions even today. And I think it's really important that I put that out there, that sometimes it's okay not to be okay, and to get yourself the help that you need. Um, Everyone was chomping at the bit for me to come back. Everyone kept asking me, or telling me, you need to be there, you need to be there, you need to be there. And full disclosure, I just wasn't feeling it. It was the hardest decision I had to make after Buster passed. Finally worked through that with my counselor, and he told me that really I didn't need to do it. I did not need to do anything I didn't want to do, and just him sharing that with me changed everything for me. That's when I was able to turn things around and recognize that I do love the game. And that I still have some value to give to the game, and I have some value to give to the young women that I coach. And so that was kind of the turning point for me. And that's when I dove all the way back in. That really happened probably at the beginning of the summertime, where I took full ownership of the team again. But Coach Eric Jack, I just owe the world to him for holding down our team, and they had an incredible season. They won 23 games last year, all under his watch. And I knew they were going to be good coming back this year. And so, my staff they understood everything that I was going through. It wasn't them pushing me to get back in it. It was just all kind of random people that I've known forever that, people, they say things to you when you go through that kind of a tragedy, where they think maybe they're helping you. And sometimes it's not always helpful, or you're not in the right frame of mind to receive that message. So, between my staff and my grief counselor, that's what really changed things for me.
We'll talk more about that. I think, especially about the counseling, and it's okay not to be okay. You're right. You're right. Everybody wants to see projected strength, and sometimes that's not, it's not there. And I understand that. I do. I also understand what you said, that sometimes people mean well, and you're
Mhm.
right. You're right. They have no idea what headspace you're in. They don't know, and they didn't mean anything by it. They didn't. They think they're your friends. They are, but at the time, it's like, I'm not. I don't want to hear that. I get it. I really do. Coach, we're
Mhm.
going to take a short break. When we come
Okay.
back, we'll talk more about this year's version of the Rio Rancho Rams after these messages on the sports desk.
Raising Cane's invites you to grab life by the chicken fingers. So get out there. Be you. Do you. Embrace whatever makes you, you. All while enjoying Raising Cane's hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that secret recipe cane sauce that makes everything that much better. So go on, savor the day.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744. Granite Passion are proud supporters of ProView Sports. They're located at 1309 12th Street Northwest. They're your one-stop shop for granite, quartzite marble, quartz, and install. Most jobs are completed in a single day. Give them a call at 505-242-1007. That's 505-242-1007. Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
Raising Cane's invites you to grab life by the chicken fingers. So get out there. Be you. Do you. Embrace whatever makes you, you. All while enjoying Raising Cane's hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that secret recipe cane sauce that makes everything that much better. So go on, savor the day.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on our Facebook page. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our very special guest today, Rio Rancho head girls basketball coach Lori Mabrey. Her Rams will take on Clovis this Friday at Rio Rancho. And then they'll take on the winner of Los Nunez and Mayfield. And let's looking at the other part of that bracket. First things first, you have to beat Clovis. You've been in these first round games before. 5 title games, 3. You won 3 at Kirtland Central. And I remember asking you about Kirtland Central back in the day, and they you had a chance to play them, and that had to, you mentioned that brought back a lot of Devin Manning does a great job out there, and it'll all likelihood be Gallup and Kirtland Central again in 4A. Although you still got to play the games, right? I mean, Gallup beat them in the district championship after Kirtland Central had beaten them decisively twice. So you never know. That's what I mean. You still got to play the games, but you were part of those programs there, and came over here to Siebel and won a championship and had 4 as an assistant at Kirtland Central. You know about championships, but you also know too that it's a struggle to get one championship, man. It is, and we were talking about that on the selection show the other night about bounces, calls, and I told my son, right? My son coached the Pius, and I told him, son, sometimes the calls break your way. The ball bounces your way. Look at UNM on Saturday. That one last pass that Bouillon threw to Albury, people were like, what are you doing? And Albury, rose and got it, right? And probably him and Troll are the only ones that can get that athletically. So sometimes it breaks your way, man. And sometimes it doesn't. So there's got to be a level of excitement for you to be back in the state tournament and with what's at stake here. You mentioned, and I think, Coach, it's important for you to say that. Sometimes it's okay, and we said this. Bree Rohde, who you're very familiar with. Bree will put it out there, and Bree's going through some things now, and she's a very good friend of mine. You know her very well, but she'll say the same thing. Their mental health is so important. It is, and it's good that you're seeking, counseling. It's there, it's available. So people, if you need it, seek it. There's nothing wrong with that, man. And you had a tremendous loss, and you're still going on. And I'm glad you stayed. Those young ladies need you, man. They need that. They need that that person that cares about them. And it's not just about basketball. It's not. It's they see you on campus, they see you, and it's more you're building young women here. So didn't mean to go on a tangent there, but you got to be excited about being in this state tournament again, Coach.
I'm very excited, and I have a great group of kids. Um, 12 of the 13 carry a 3.5 or above GPA, and the 13th has a 3.0. I mean, these are the kind of kids that take care of their business in the classroom, out of the classroom. They don't get into trouble. They do things the right way. They're hardworking kids. And, you're so right that sometimes the ball's got to bounce your way and those kind of things. I felt like I could have had a couple more at Cibola. Got a bad call where a key player fouled out in our Hobbs state championship game. And then one year, Karina Chapman in the district title game broke her foot, and you don't replace a double double in a week. Going into the state tournament. So we just got some bad luck at that point in time. So winning a state title, yes, you have to have a good team, but you also need to have a little bit of luck during that week. I like to believe that luck happens to those that are best prepared. So we do everything we can to prepare our kids. But they're great girls, and I would love nothing more than for them to have a shot at this title. Um, Even now, through everything I've been through, it's not really about me, Ed. We've had a great season. We're 24 wins. I mean, you can't complain anytime you get 24 wins. This is an opportunity for our kids to put the cherry on the top for themselves. And I always tell them I'm going to be their biggest cheerleader this week. And I do mean that.
They need that, because it's so intense. The state tournament, I've got like
Mhm,
14 games at the pit next week that I'm calling. And I'm
mhm.
exhausted at the end of the week. But my wife said you wouldn't have it any other way. And she's right. She's absolutely right. My son is going to Vegas for the men's tournament. And I'm used to being it's my sidekick, man, and I hate covering without him because him and I get to do it, with father and son. It doesn't get any better than how many father and sons get to be play by play, color, then split. You do one, I'll do the other. Not many. So
Yeah.
we're very lucky to do that. But I've got a quote about somebody that knows you real well. Lori's a great
Oh,
coach. She has over 400 wins. She has awesome passion for the game of basketball. She's intense and has high expectations, but at the same time has a tremendous ability to relate to players and cares deeply about every player. I respect her tremendously, and I never would have got back in the coaching game to work for anyone else but Lori. She's a great friend that I think the world of. You probably know who that's from. That's from Bruce Carver, who wouldn't have gotten it back in if it wouldn't been for you. And I think you rejuvenated him too, though, being around kids, right? I mean,
yeah.
when I talked to him, I'm always like, "Hey, Bruce, what's up, man? How's it going?" You know, and it's funny because I talked to him before you guys played Volcano, and then I talked to Lisa the next night. Just happened to run into her. So being in the game for me is like, man, right? Being around the game, and so when I talk to him, he's just so enthused about what you guys are doing, and it's it. But coach, I think you would agree on the road to any championship is pockmarked with challenges we have no idea about. You mentioned the injuries. You mentioned
Mhm.
things we have no control of. We can control what we can control. Referees calls. I've been on some bad part of. I made some calls. I'm sure that weren't good. But I always say with refs, we can't control them. Oh, right. And congratulations to all the refs that made the state tournament this year. But I think that's the main thing. Coach Carver really happy to be back, and I could see that when I see him. Very happy to be back in the game, and would have done it for anybody except for you.
Yeah, Coach Carver's been just a blessing for our program. And funny story about Coach Carver. First of all, God bless him for that incredible quote. He did not need to be so kind to me. He has really helped me grow, and it's not always easy teaching an old dog new tricks. I try to keep an open mind. I try to stay up with the trends in basketball, how we can help our team get better. He's really challenged my thinking on that. And so for that, I am very, very grateful. He also hired me at Rio Rancho Public Schools. So I would have never been in this position had it not been for him. So also very grateful for that. Coach Carver's never coached girls before, Ed. I don't know if you knew that, but this
He
is his
did.
very first
He told
girls
me.
team.
He told me.
So we do some funny things in the girls program. My girls get some funny little traditions where they don't hold hands, but they hold each other's pinkies. Just dumb little girly things. Tomorrow all the girls are gonna go get a manicure because that's kind of what we've done the last 3-4 years at Rio Rancho is a couple days before state really kicks off. Our kids like to go sit in the massage chair, and they call that team building, where they go get a mani pedi. And so some of those things have kind of been a little bit mind blowing for Bruce because girls are, vastly different than boys. But I think he's really enjoyed being around the kids.
Have you got him to get a manicure or pedicure yet? Have you got him to join in that?
Oh, he said he wanted to join for sure.
Oh man. All right. I'm gonna call him up right after this. Say, hey man, yeah, good for you. Hey, you're part of the team. You do what the team does. That's it.
Yeah,
Right? Yep. It
yeah.
doesn't matter, man. So no, he did tell me that. And Bruce is kind of like me, that old dog with the macho stuff, right? So sometimes, but my granddaughter has kind of stopped that with me a little bit, like, hey, that's my little girl, that's my little angel, right? So I get that. But Coach, I don't know if you wouldn't mind sharing a whistle that you got in the mail.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, would you mind showing that and showing us and telling us about that? You got a little memento of of Buster in the mail. Tell us about it.
So here's the whistle. It's got a piece of turquoise on it, and on the other side it says NMHS Boys State 2001. Now, Buster's sister lives in Seaside, Florida, and she had this whistle. I'm guessing Buster gave it to her. And so she sent me a picture and said, would I like the whistle? And I said, I would absolutely love the whistle. That would mean a lot to me personally. And so it actually came in the mail yesterday. Darla, Buster's sister, has no idea that Buster's getting honored for the 25th year reunion, as are you, Ed,
Yes.
for calling a state tournament game some 25 years ago, back in 2001. So just really ironic that she found the whistle, number one. And number two, that she sent it to me right before the state tournament without really even knowing the significance of it, to be honest with you. That just, solidifies in my mind that God exists and that Buster's up there watching over me.
You know what? Absolutely, he is. And that whistle, I must mention, from Ralph Ortiz of Santa Fe. I've got a few of those. And Ralph comes down every state tournament and addresses the officials, and he always gives out those. Ralph is a funny guy, man. I don't know if you know Ralph. Do you know Ralph?
I do.
Yeah. Um, he says one state tournament, and I refed my first girls tournament with him, and I heard him tell a coach, Coach, you bust your behind for me, I'll bust my behind for you. And I'm thinking, what the heck does that even mean, man? I'm thinking to myself, but that was Ralph Ortizisms, right? Everybody had their
Mhm.
own way of talking to coaches. It worked for him. Ralph had his own way. I love Ralph. Ralph has given back to the NMA a whole bunch over the last, 30, 40 years. We'll be there again. So yeah, he's a great man, and I'm glad you shared that with us, and also your memories of Buster that still go on, and like you said, this state tournament. Yeah, Coach, we're going to wrap the show up at Rio Rancho head girls basketball coach Lori Mabrey. Her Rams will take on Clovis this Friday. We wish you all the best of luck. Sure appreciate you being our guest on the Sports Desk.
Thank you for inviting me, and enjoy your 25-year reunion, Ed.
I sure
You've
will.
been doing it a long time.
Thanks, Lori. Good luck on Friday. For
Thank you.
producer
Appreciate
Jason
it.
Pohl, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the Sports Desk.